Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Olivia. You may also know me as the Carnivore Ballerina, and today I will be talking about the pros and cons of starting ballet late. Now, my story is a bit confusing. I started ballet when I was around 3 to 4, just doing recreational ballet. You can check out my whole story in another video that I posted. But essentially, I did recreational ballet, didn't really learn any positions until around the age of 7. Didn't really do anything until around 13 and a half. Slapped on a pair of pointe shoes, thought I could dance, auditioned for the biggest school in the country that I was in, and for whatever reason got in, and then restarted somewhat proper training at the age of 14. And then I had to restart everything at the age of 17. So if you want that full story, you can go there. But today I'll just be talking about the pros and cons of starting late, because I posted this, and some people think that it's actually better to start later. And I do think to some extent it is actually better and better to start later. So I want to talk about the pros first, keep positive, and then the cons at the end. So the pros are you're a lot more aware of your body feeling stuff. So when I was smaller, the teacher would say, like, think, what are you feeling? And do what you feel feels good. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. I wasn't really aware of my body. And as a younger person hearing that, it made zero sense. So if you're there and you have no idea what that means, I get it. I don't really exactly know how to explain it, but it's somehow like you have to just be extremely aware of your everything in your body, your shoulders, your bones in your thumbs, absolutely everything you have to be so aware of. And because you are so hyper aware of everything, you're able to control everything a lot easier. Now, this obviously will help you advance a lot more, but it's not easy to be that hyper aware and be able to control everything, of course. So that is a pro, that you can be a lot more aware and understanding of your physical body, where your balance is as well. It was so much easier for me to figure out balancing when I was older, just because of how aware of my body I was compared to when I was younger. When I was younger, I was just like, okay, let's hope for the best, and I couldn't really balance. Now it's just like, I know, I'm like, okay, we're going to go balance, because I know where I need to be aligned or where I feel my center is. So that is definitely a pro, being so hyper aware of your physical beingness, I guess. So that helps you improve immensely, and it's like night and day. If you are not aware of your body, it is so difficult to improve. So if you're not aware of your body, try and be aware of your body. That isn't really helpful, but I don't really know how to explain it apart from what I just explained. So being aware of your body, huge one. Another pro is you're a lot more logical in your approach to ballet or whatever training that you're doing. This can actually be applied to a lot of things, I guess. Before, the teacher would say something, it would go in my head for like 5 seconds while I'm doing it, and then by the time I'm at the next combination, completely out of my head. Plus the fact that I didn't really understand that what I'm doing at the bar is a preparation for what I'm doing at the center. Despite the fact that the teacher would tell me, this is a preparation for the center. We're doing this because we're doing this fouette at the bar in the fondue combination because we're going to do fouette in the center later on. I'm like, whatever. I didn't really understand the correlation, or that you needed something to prepare you at the bar to then go to the center. So a lot more of a logical approach, as well as now, as an older person compared to, I'm not old, but as an older person, not a young adolescent. When I was younger, I would practice stuff till death, basically. Now I'm like, that's stupid. I'm going to do something until I do it once or twice right, and then if I'm going to try and do it again and I feel already like, oh, no, it's not going to happen, I'm just not going to do it, because that muscle memory is going to stay in my body, and I don't want that bad muscle memory. So if I did it twice and it felt amazing, like let's say I did 3 pirouettes or 4, hopefully, maybe, I'm just going to stop. I'm not going to try and attempt it 100 billion times, because the last time that I do it, it's going to be like 1.5 and I fall out of it, and that's what my body is going to remember as the last thing it did, and I don't want that memory. I don't want that muscle memory. So approaching it with trying to do it not as few times as possible, but as many times as possible. Let's say 5 times and not 20 times, but proper every single time makes a huge difference, instead of just being stupid and trying to do something 100 times and it's bad every single time, but you can say, I'm hardworking. But if you're hardworking and you're not getting results, that's not helpful. Another thing, which is a huge pro to starting later compared to starting earlier, is I have a lot more appreciation for my teacher and everything that they're telling me. When I was younger, I was like, whatever, they told me this. And maybe that was just me. I did still obviously have respect and love my teacher. She knows, hopefully. And I would listen to her, but at the same time, I was like, oh my God, I already know this and I'm already doing it. But if you're not applying it, then the teacher's going to say to me 100 times. So to avoid the teacher saying the same thing, 7 notebooks, all this thick with notes of every single correction and combination given to me in my most recent training. And I go and I write it down immediately after the class, and then I read it before the next class so that I remember the correction I was given in the past class, so they don't have to give me the same correction, so that I can hopefully implement that in this class, and then I can get new corrections, meaning that I'm improving faster. And that honestly has been the ultimate game changer, has been just taking notes. It is so time consuming. I kid you not, I would spend probably 2 hours taking notes and then an hour reading them every single day. So that's 3 hours of your day. It is so time consuming, but you do improve a lot, which arguably you're saving time, because if you, instead of doing 8 years of training and you're doing like 3, but doing that intensive noting and writing, it kind of evens out, I guess. But it's less painful to go through 3 years of intensity compared to 8. That's my opinion, but yeah. So those are some pros. Of course, there's a bunch of other pros to starting ballet later. I'm just going to go into the cons now because I don't want this to be a long video because I find that annoying. So the cons are, after the age of 16, to my awareness, or that I am aware of, that was a weird way of wording that, your bones are fully grown and somewhat fully developed. I think it's different with men compared to women. So the point of that is, you can't really mold your body as well as in flexibility and turning out your hip sockets. So that is not easy. That's if you're starting later. Like I restarted at 17 and I had to stretch a lot. I started to really stretch when I was more so 18, 19. And that was not a fun feat, but it's possible. If you have a chiropractor to assist you in that. That was key, to be able to do that. That and a foam roller, which some people absolutely hate. That is I need to foam roll. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. But the point is, if you start when you're 14, you can still kind of like mold your hips to be more rotational and flexible. When you're 16, 17, 18, 19, it's not easy, but it's possible, but it's not easy. There are no excuses. I will say that. It is possible. It's just not easy, which makes it way more rewarding. Another con, which is related to this, is I do take about an hour to warm up, so it doesn't feel natural to me being flexible. I can't just go outside and kick my leg up here. Like some girls, they just go on vacation for a month and they'll take photos with their leg. I could be wrong. Maybe they're stretching a lot. But some people I know, they don't do anything and they're just like, yep, whatever, and my leg's behind my ear now. I can't do that. I need like an hour of stretching, and even then it just feels very, very unnatural to me. And it's not that it's not supposed to be natural. It's definitely not supposed to be natural. It just feels wrong in my hip sockets, and that's where I think, because of stretching later, it's developed in a certain way. So that's my understanding. I'm still flexible, maybe. It's just not natural, so that's a con. Another con, this one is big, is your feet. You can kind of also mold your feet, and I was able to do this a bit. My feet were horrendous before. I don't have horrible feet, I will say that. I do have a nice arch, so they do look quite nice, but my toes aren't so long, so it just looks like this big crunch. It doesn't look like long, and then like Maria Kareva, she has the most amazing feet. Anyway, yeah, so your feet. When you are younger, once again, similarly, you can kind of mold them with your hands, and I've talked about this a couple times on my TikTok, where you can kind of like massage your feet and mold it like you're molding a clay pot or something. I'm not kidding. It is possible to do that. I don't really use a TheraBand. I don't feel the need. I haven't noticed improvements with a TheraBand. molding with my hands, I've noticed better results. But when you're starting older, especially to get the winged foot and not get the sickling in, that is not easy. So that is an absolute con. Another con to starting older, and I'll just leave this as the last one because it's going to be terribly long if not, is you are a lot more aware of the things that can go wrong. So because you are so hyper aware, it has its positives, of course, but it has its negatives. And the negative is that you think, I can turn, but I can probably fall and hit my head or something like that. Something like that. So compared to when I was younger, I would just spin, and I had zero fear. I'm very biased though, because I fell in the middle, front center of a performance, my last performance, doing a pirouette. So I have a bit of a mental block, which I haven't quite gotten out of yet. So that's my own opinion, is that being so aware. But once again, I'm biased because I have that not so fun experience. I want to say this because I never was able to say this in that video where I fell in front center stage. We had to go off and then continue dancing, of course, at another point, and I kid you not, I did not realize how close the audience was until the year after, where I didn't perform because I couldn't due to health reasons, and I did not realize how close we appeared despite people sitting farther away. I was bawling my eyes out in the second half of that performance, and all the mascara and makeup was like dripping down my face. I wish someone had filmed that with like a better quality. That would have been hilarious. Anyway, so those are the pros and cons of ballet. I'm going to be starting ballet older. I'm going to be doing more videos like this because I would have loved to have these when I was starting older. If you have any requests as to what exactly you would like me to talk about, you can either message me or let me know in the comments down below. Take the cons and use them to your advantage. So find a way to make a positive situation out of them. Never think of negatives and downfalls and all that fun stuff. I want to talk about a very controversial topic soon on ballet, which I already posted on my TikTok. It's an 8-minute long video. It is very long. I'm surprised that it actually got any views of any kind. And that is the toxicity of the ballet world. But yeah, so until then, let's keep a positive attitude, I guess. And yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Thank you for watching, and let me know what more you would like to see of.